talking to Will Calhoun. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing, well, I'm burned out, to be honest with you.
Me too, a little bit, slightly.
But everything's good.
Good.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, I mean, you are such a chameleon, you know, on the drums. Do you think that the distinction that's made between jazz technique and rock technique is kind of artificial in a way?
Honestly, it's all artificial. And I think even the styles are artificial. I relate to sound, really. And once I hear something, I put what I know, or what I'm thinking about, to what I'm hearing. So to me, to have rock technique or jazz technique or classical technique doesn't mean anything to me, as long as when I'm playing the instrument, I have to use all of those techniques to play the parts. So they're all useful. Then you watch a guy like Elvin Jones play, you know, when he was around and playing, and you see, what does technique really mean? It's just relating to sound and how you want to get your ideas across. And if that requires a glove or a muted stick or a stick with a jingle on it, knock yourself out. But I like to study techniques, obviously, yes. Ted Reed's book, Molar Techniques. My favorite is Fine and Dal Green's Accent on Accents. It's a great book to deal with technique and levels of the stick. So all of that stuff's great. At the end of the day, I want to execute and connect with what I'm hearing.
Yeah, the same applies for other sort of world styles as well, which is something you've really delved into recently, sort of breaking down barriers between Western music and African music. And is that sort of an ongoing thing for you?
Yeah, it is, because the more research that I do, the more that I'm realizing the future. It's like when I research in Africa or Central America, I also can hear James Brown, Sly, dub, you know, and even get ideas for electronic drumming. So when I'm trying to go in both directions. I'm here because I like to learn about new technology and some new reissues and some standard things. But I go there when I want to really learn the history of the drumming that was played with an animal skin and tree, and tree sticks, limbs, what have you. That's my reason for going both ways. You learn both things, but without a doubt, learning that history helps you to go really forward beyond this stylistic approach of jazz, rock, and funk. Because when you're in a village, and you're in the North Village, and they play a groove one way, and you go south and it's different, it's not a southern version of it, or a northern version of it. It's the same groove. It's different interpretation.
Exactly, yeah.
And those things have meanings. And that broke down the walls for me, for wanting to think about styles and what works and what doesn't work.
You know, when you were talking about, earlier, talking about the blurring of distinctions between rock drumming, jazz drumming, I just thought of Tony Williams, man, where you couldn't really put your finger on what kind of drummer he was, and he didn't want you to either.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to do some clinic tours with Tony, and I asked Tony about his favorite musical period, and he said it was Lifetime. I thought he was going to say Miles, and he said no, it was Lifetime, because he liked the rock, he liked playing the groove, he liked, you know, soloing, electronic music, straight ahead jazz, sambas, Mozambican beats all together. So I think that to perceive music and art in a sense of honesty, in a sense of you going boundless, it's important that you think about the sound first, and then how to get that sound second, and not, this is a classical piece, it's a jazz piece, it's a rock and roll piece. So Tony's my hero, guys like Tony, now to Michael Walden, you know, these guys, whatever the case may be. And I grew up with that. So with Living Color and whatever I'm doing now, I enjoy thinking about the music in that way. You know, my record is The Native Lands. I use drum machines, duo with Nana Vasconcelos. It's all part of my growth as a musician and expression. So.
You're right, whether it's a technology or a style, they're all tools that are out there for you to use, you know. And sometimes people are reluctant to do it because I think they're scared to water down or you know, dilute what they're doing.
And some aren't aware of it. Some simply aren't aware. It's no disrespect, but some of them are just, they're not aware. They're not aware of outside the box. You know, there's an awareness. It's like, I don't know, the best description is maybe when you were a kid, your mother knocked over a vase at the same time you were looking at a praying mantis in the window. So whenever you see a praying mantis, you get this feeling.
Yeah.
And you don't associate those two together, but they're related.
You don't know why. Yeah.
But maybe there's a point in your life when you realize they're connected, and then you deal with the vase breaking and the praying mantis differently. It's no longer the same experience. And that's what has to happen when you research music. You understand the experiences and how different they are. And you have an experience that makes them the same, but they're not really the same.
No, it's true.
And that's how it is with understanding outside of samba, funk, and claves, and there's other things going on there that are not connected. And when you can hear that, you can hear the other stuff better.
Yeah.
You can relate to the claves and the stuff much clearer when you separate them.
Hey, thanks for doing this, man.
It's a pleasure.
That was really good.
Thank you.
All right. Have fun down here.